What is up, guys? This is Josh the Gamer here, coming at you with a brand new video. So today in this video we are going to be continuing on our Quorum programming tutorials, and in this tutorial we're going to be covering what's called inheritance. Now, inheritance is an object-oriented programming concept where you have one class that is a parent and another class that is a child. So, for example, let's say if we wanted to create a game in Quorum, for example, you would have to inherit what's called the game class, where the game class is the parent, and your main class, or the class that you inherit game from, is the child. So I think the best way to show you this would be to demonstrate it to you. So let's go ahead and go into our source code folder, and we're going to create a couple new Quorum classes. We're going to say new Quorum class. We're going to call this we're just going to call this class pet. Alright, so we have a class called pet. We're going to make it an empty class for right now. Go ahead and create another new Quorum class. Sorry about that. I need to do my microphone. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and create a dog. So a class called dog. We're going to create another one. I know it's repetitive. We're going to call this cat, because why not? Because dogs and cats are both house pets. So, now that we have this done, what we want to do is, since a dog and a cat are both pets, we want to make sure that anything in the pet class, the dog and cat can use or can have access to. So, what we want to do here is, inside of our dog and cat class, after the class name, put a space, then do the is keyword, and we're going to say pet. So now your class declaration should say class dog is pet. Now, what is the is keyword? Well, is the keyword for inheriting from a class. So this is pretty much saying that class dog is going to inherit from pet, because a dog is a pet. Makes sense? That's the whole point. It's supposed to make sense, because the Quorum is a evidence-oriented programming language, and the syntax for this sort of thing has much evidence behind it as to why it is the way it is. I will leave a link in the video description of a great talk done by the creator of the Quorum programming language, Andrea Stefik, on evidence-oriented programming and why certain things in Quorum are the way they are. It's very interesting, and I think anybody who's interested in this programming language will be very interested to know why a lot of this stuff is the way it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and go into our cat class and inherit inherit pet from that as well. So now that we have that, we can go ahead and go into our pet class. We're going to create a couple actions. We're going to create a couple actions for walking forward, backward, and speaking. So let's get started on that, shall we? Let's go ahead and do an action. We're going to say speak. We're going to say text. This is going to take a text parameter, and it's going to be we're just going to call it speak. We're going to end that, and then inside that we're going to output speak. Alright, so now another action. Action walk forward. And sorry about that, guys. My Skype's kind of going off, and I didn't have time to mute it or anything. So walk forward, end. And I forgot I do not need those parentheses because it's one of those things that is not required in an action that does not take parameters. If you've skipped that tutorial, please go watch it. You need to watch the previous tutorials to know what the heck is going on here. So we're going to output a string literal that says walking forward. And then we're going to say action walk backward. We're going to output another string literal that says walking backward. Alright, so now that we have that done, let's go ahead and go into our main.quorum. Above your action main, go ahead and create a dog and a cat object. So dog, cat. Now, first of all, if you were paying attention, in the dog and cat class, we didn't put anything in it. However, if we go into our main class and we go into our action main and we type the name of the object, so in this case I'm going to type dog, colon, and then as you can see, speak, walk backward, and walk forward show up. Well, why is that? We didn't create those actions in the class dog. Well, the whole reason why those show up in the first place is because in the pet class, which is the parent of our inheritance hierarchy, we have those three actions defined. And in our dog and cat classes, we inherit from those. So, therefore, any method created in the parent class can be called using objects of classes that inherit from it. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to put a link in the video description as well to a little image that I created specifically to explain the hierarchy of an inheritance relationship between different classes. Hopefully with a visual representation you guys will be able to understand it better, but I'm trying to explain it the best I can. So let's go ahead and just call speak for dog and cat. We're gonna say woof, just put it in all caps because why not. Cat colon speak meow. And we're just going to do dog, walk backward, cat, walk backward, dog, walk forward, and cat, walk forward. So if we save this and then run it, it calls the actions in the pet class and outputs what we wanted. So it does woof for the dog, meow for the cat, and walking backward for cat and dog, and then walking forward for the cat and the dog as well. So that pretty much is the basics of inheritance. You can do so much more with inheritance, but that is for, well, another time, and I also want you guys to experiment with it as well, so that way you guys can kind of get the hang of it as well, because the whole point of this series is to teach you the language, and if you don't understand the basic concept of something, and if you don't experiment with it, you're just not going to learn it. That's just the way it is. And yeah, so that'll pretty much do it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.